Yeah, so bit of a different type of video we're doing today, but it's a sad day to be a Seahawks fan. Or not a Seahawks, sorry. It's a sad day to be a 49ers fan. Well, last 2 days have been actually. On Saturday Jan- of January 2026, the Seahawks and the 49ers went up against each other in a football game that was probably going to hopefully be a good one for each of their seasons. But quite bluntly, to pull up the score right now, we can see it's one of the most pathetic games in the history of this sport. And that's even considering that just there have been thousands of of football games, tens to hundreds of thousands sanctioned football games played since its inception. And the fact that I consider the game between the Seahawks and the 49ers to be the most pathetic one in recent history, well, really the second most pathetic in recent history, should go to say how atrocious getting beat 41 to 6 in the actual NFL is. At that point, just get rid of the team because it's clear that the 49ers were some of the most unmotivated to win people I've seen in a long time. Because how are you going to let yourself get beat 6 to 41? Like, that's just awful. Like, and here I thought, my middle school, I thought we had pathetic performances back whenever I went there. Like, the first two games of the season were like, we got beat like 10 to 30, which, is not that bad. It's only a 20-point lead. A few touchdowns could have saved us. But then you get over to the next game of the season where it gets called off at the second quarter because we got beat 52 to 0 before the second quarter even ended. It was called off and everyone went home early that night, and the next day I think most of the football players got beat up. Because the school that beat us in that scenario was like some rich school that didn't even have a good football program. They just were basically bribing the refs, and they started taking our points somehow, which I still don't know how they could facilitate to do that. But overall, those games were pathetic, yes, but those were a bunch of 6th through 8th graders on the field with a ball. These are some grown ass men that have been training most of their lives to be able to play at a professional level, and they got beat 41 to 6. Quite frankly, 49ers fans, you all should have some shame that this is the team you're rooting for, because it is the most saddening and pathetic loss in any sporting event I've seen, and that's even considering when the Nashville soccer team first started and their first game was 3 to 0. Which, granted, I know it's soccer, so I think the way you score is you got to sacrifice a goat on the field. It's still just saddening that this that just overall competitive sports like this, you have less action than like a high school football game for the state finals that it's the 52-year-old coach's last year coaching for, and he's the best coach they've had. Those type of people play harder than some of these NFL teams because genuinely, like one of the only NFL teams that has my respect right now is the Broncos, and that's because the Uma Musume fans are constantly rooting for them, and that's somehow giving them a near undefeated season. And I partially respect the Eagles because if I don't, then I will probably be hung up and strung by my toes by some Eagles fans that are family friends if I don't respect the Eagles, no matter how bad or good of a season they have. But overall, football and other sports like that at the professional level either have some of the most goated performances you've ever seen, Like literally any Lakers game, and I'm not even a basketball fan, but pretty much any Lakers game you'll ever see will be one of the best games you'll ever see. Like, because of LeBron and all of the other famous players on the Lakers, I can't name another off my head. I can't name another NBA or yeah, an NBA basketball team. I can only name the Lakers because the rest of them are just irrelevant due to LeBron's sheer status on the Lakers. It's the same with baseball. The only teams I can think of are the Yankees and the Mets and like maybe the Bears and Cardinals. Just to tell just to say that baseball is dominated by a few teams that are all some of the best in their master class, while other teams in the MLB try and catch up to them. Not soccer. Hockey is basically just UFC with a puck and a stick and a bunch of people on an ice rink. I can only think of the Nashville Predators, and they aren't. And I don't even think they're a NHL league, or I don't think they're in the NHL league. I think they're just a college team. But please don't get mad at me if I'm wrong. I do not keep up with sports. My channel is literally called Gandalf the Gamer. Did you think I'd be keeping up with sports? But overall, again, it's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Like, I didn't even find out about this until like 30 minutes ago that this happened to the 49ers. Um, but essentially, I was just doom scrolling, and then suddenly I just see a South Park clip where some guy blows his head off after his son says, "Dad, I still love you," and I'm thinking, well, that's a little dark. Uh, not like not out loud. I kind of laughed a little. Anyway, the next thing I see though, whenever the video replays, is that it just said how it feels to be a 49ers fan right now, which quite frankly resonated deep with me because despite the fact I don't keep up with sports, if I did root for a team and they got beat that bad, I think that would fully be a valid reaction. You're seriously going to tell me that the team that I've been sticking with since I was a child got beat by 35 points. And like this is just I'm not I don't know, man. The 49ers really need to get their act together after that cuz that is more embarrassing than half the stuff I've heard come out of the Titans. Because as someone who knows a dedicated Titans fan, they get serious about it. Like I've heard someone who is a Titans fan like throw the remote at the TV because they missed a touchdown, which quite frankly was hilarious to hear, but also a bit terrifying at the same time because I'm thinking, better not make that person mad at this moment. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. How pathetic it was for 49ers, and hopefully they can get it together before the end of the season. Though I doubt they're going to the Super Bowl. My Super Bowl prediction, I don't know who else is going, but I know if the Uma Musume fans keep it up, the Broncos are making it to the Super Bowl this year. If they don't, then come back to this video and tell me I'm wrong whenever it gets time for the Super Bowl. Anyway, peace.